segment is sponsored by Our Home magazine on newsstands now.
You can add a personalized touch to your holiday arrangements using materials from your own backyard.
Grace Chapman-Elton, Director of Horticulture at Lewis Skinner Botanical Garden and Our Home magazine gardening columnist, is back to share some tips. We were talking a minute ago, I grew up in the South. I grew up in Richmond. Magnolia leaves were always on the mantle. My mom used to send me out in the woods to find running cedar, which was always a big thing. And of course, you bought all these different kinds of cedar, and we were talking about how good this one smelled a minute ago. There are lots of colors out there if we just look.
Right. Everyone thinks that the winter landscape is drab and brown, but look at all of this. I cut all of this yesterday.
Wow, that is so impressive and so neat to be able to pull in so many colors, and then it just looks so holiday.
Yeah, and it really kind of can last all the way from Thanksgiving through the new year because you don't have to just focus on red. You know, these beautiful winterberry holly berries here, but we've added in this beautiful Atlantic cedar here to give it a little silvery tinge.
And it smells good, like we said before.
Oh, it smells so
too.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So it'll fill your home with a great scent.
And that's really nice because if your tree is one of the artificial variety and you really like that pine smell or that holiday smell, but you don't get it from your tree, this is a great way to infuse that too.
Absolutely. It only takes a little bit to make your whole house smell good.
What is this leaf here?
This is a Hellebore. So we normally grow these plants because they have beautiful bell-shaped flowers that come out early in the spring. But I really like using the foliage. It's an evergreen plant, it's a low ground cover, and it's wonderful to bring in that different shape. It looks almost tropical to me because
And Grace,
it's so big.
aren't those shade loving too?
They are.
Yeah, so that's, I didn't realize they were evergreen.
Yeah, some Hellebores aren't, but the stinking Hellebores, which is this one, is.
The what?
They're called stinking Hellebores.
Bring them in the house.
It's a tough sell.
All right, you got some other things here. Now, I don't have this in my backyard because I don't live in Lewis Skinner, but you may have some kind of nut or acorn or pod out in the woods in your backyard. What is that? That is amazing.
I wanted
looking.
to show you one of our little floral tricks. So this is a cluster of acorns, and what we did was we wired and then hot glued this stick to it, and then you can see in the arrangement here, you just stick it down in the pod, and then you can bring acorns into your arrangement. And these are bur oak.
Bur oak.
Bur oak. I've never, Grace, I mean, you were like...
And they grow locally? This grows locally?
It does.
Wow.
Yeah. But you can use this, you can use any kind of acorns or nuts. I've got some other things like here's a cryptomeria, and look at these beautiful little cones on here. So, pull out your seeds and cones and whatever you can find in your backyard.
Grace, do I have to be nervous though about going out and cutting at my plants in this time of year?
For many plants, this is an okay time of year to trim, especially for your evergreen plants. But be careful, if it's a plant that blooms in the springtime, you don't want to cut it now because you'll be cutting off next year's blooms.
Okay, good to know.
Now, these teeny little acorns, you might not even notice them, but if you do notice them and you look at the detail on them, they're absolutely beautiful.
Bill, I think that's totes a pine cone.
Huh?
I think that is totes a pine cone. Is it?
It's a pine cone.
Oh, yes!
But it's actually, actually that's not right. It's a hemlock cone.
Oh, see,
So,
we drew neutral on that one.
Together we'll get it right.
It's party. That was my point. It's party.
It's real party.
All right, and then we actually have some flowers here that you mixed in as well.
Yep. That's Camellias sasanqua. So those are blooming right now, and then your Camellia japonica are the ones that will be blooming in the spring. So I like to, especially in my backyard, I've got sasanquas in my backyard and japonicas in my front yard, so then I get a really long camellia bloom.
And Grace, you have these in a flower pot. I have the luxury of being able to see. There's just dirt in there.
Yeah,
Just stuck them in.
It's a great trick. You don't have to use floral foam or Oasis. We just filled that pot with soil and stuck the branches in it. And it's a great trick that you can use inside and outdoors. So if you have large containers that you had your annual plants in that you've removed, you can just cut branches and stick it right in the soil.
Gorgeous.
These flowers are, we have sunflowers, but with your woodies and your evergreens that you're cutting, they don't need to be soaking up the water like a cut flower would. So it's really just for stabilization. So it's
just to hold them.
cheap and easy.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Is this the snow cone bush, grandma bush we have in the yard?
Hydrangea, is that the word you're looking for? Snow cone bush. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a technical name.
Exactly.
It's purty.
Party, yeah.
Yeah, that's a hydrangea blossom that, I just picked that up off the ground and it was really smushed on the backside, but we were able to use that in coordination with the little gem magnolia, and it looks great. So, you might discard that as something that should go in the compost pile, but look how wonderful brown can actually look in an arrangement.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
It
And
really
then you've
does.
got the brown on the back of the magnolia leaves.
Yeah.
Ah,
And that's a really great magnolia
Yeah.
because it's called Little Gem and the leaves are very small. So it's a southern magnolia that's a miniature leaf, so it works really well in cut arrangements.
And Grace, really quick, we're almost out of time. We have about 30 seconds. We have some pretty video, speaking of pretty, to show you. Look at the lights out at Ginter right now.
Yes.
So in the daytime you can admire this beautiful evergreen holiday, but at night come and see the show.
Yeah,
How long
Dominion
is it running?
Garden Festive Lights. It runs until January 9th, so you have time up through Christmas, but then also afterwards to January 9th. We are closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but there are wonderful events going on every night. But I like your suggestion. Come during the day, maybe come at dusk, so you can enjoy the plants and then stay for the lights.
Thank you so much. What great ideas.
Yeah.
November, December issue of Our Home Magazine is available right now on newsstands. Pick up a copy, subscribe online, visit richmondmagazine.com/.